My passion from when I was very young was initially for the ocean. It was the ocean first, and then it was anything wild. So I formed a connection with the sea from when I was probably 7 or 8, I guess. I was snorkeling in rock pools, and I just liked being underwater. And slowly that relationship grew as I became a little braver. You know, you end up swimming a little bit further out, and you engage with more and more animals that you see in the ocean, and that relationship became stronger and stronger over the years. Yeah, when you look for a motivation and you ask yourself why you keep going back into the sea and you keep seeking these experiences, it was the notion that you had the privilege of being one of the only people doing that particular thing at that particular time. So, you know, you might be lying next to a turtle or watching an amazing shoal of fish, and you wonder, you know, how many other people are in that situation. You know, you're deep underwater a lot of the time holding your breath, and you feel unique and you feel special. And I think, you know, in later years I could have said it was the spearfishing or you know, the sport or the physical challenge, but really at the base of it all was like a privileged sense of adventure. I've always had the sense that if you can get people to understand a passion for the ocean, or even a passion just for wilderness in a broad sense, you know, you're converting them in a way, and you're changing them for the better, because, you know, obviously from a conservation standpoint, there's a lot of value in getting people to connect with the sea or with the wild or with wild animals. And it's, you know, it's almost like a type of evangelism. You know, you're showing people these incredible things, and they go, oh, you know, that's amazing. I never knew, or I never knew that's what it looked like, or I never knew that's how this animal behaved. And you immediately convert them into a conservation mind point. And I like that. I think that's something worth pursuing, you know, and it's something that's kind of bled through into a lot of the films that I've ended up working on. The best way to approach diving is to get yourself comfortable with water. So there's generally two types of people. One are really comfortable in water in any way. They know how to read the surf, they know how to read the ocean, they understand currents. I suppose generally good swimmers. And if you're not that, I think the biggest thing is to realize that the ocean isn't against you. It's just an element that you have to trust and accept, and the biggest thing is respect. So I think a healthy sense of respect for the sea is a great starting point. And then just start with baby steps. Start snorkeling in a tidal pool, and just be fascinated by what's there. And then the logical next step is to extend yourself. And before you know it, you'll be, you know, you'll find yourself in what you consider an extreme situation, but that will become normal and you'll be able to handle it. So I think just go as quickly as you want to go. Don't be pressured into jumping in the deep end, as it were, and just form a relationship with the sea.
Leading to surfing, I can just say it was, you know, I don't want to say poverty, but it was just really through hard times that we got into surfing. Walking on the street just feels like everyone's going the other way and I'm going the other way. Because surfing on its own, it's got its culture, like even to a level of religion, you know, like surf all day, every day, and life goes on, and that's how most of us live, you know. As human beings, maybe we're designed to be submissive, you know. It's just, for me, being submissive to that power of the ocean kind of makes me feel real. It's just being able to use all your energy at the same time, and I think that's the main thing about riding a wave: your mind, your body, and your soul, even, because everything just blocks off and like everything's shut away. It's only what you know and what the wave offers. So it's just the only place where you feel really humbled, and like, I think, in my opinion, humble is the most honest expression you could ever have as a person. Like a wave, it's just moving water. It's a moving body of the ocean. So being able to ride that, and like kind of like, it's almost like it's like getting a perfect canvas to like just do like a piece of art. In my opinion, every wave is a perfect wave because every wave is different. The understanding of the wave, like over many years of doing it, it just kind of like gives you this drive to keep doing it more and more, because it's like, it's pure energy, you know. Surfing, basically, it's just that vibe and that energy it gives you, you know, that good vibe, which is the stoke. It's almost like a tangible feeling, you know, that you can guarantee yourself, like you'll be stoked like every day after a surf. All I really lived off. As it goes, live by faith, not by sight, but we live by stoke.
I've been living in Durban my whole life, so it's 40 years now. The first time I started surfing when I was about 11 years old, 12 years old, and ever since then I've always had a passion for the sea in all respects. I mean, I love the water. When I was a kid, I used to be a swimmer, and so I've always loved the water, and the sea is just an extension of that. I think proof of how huge a part of my life the ocean is the fact that I still live in Durban. Because from a work point of view, if I moved to Joburg or inland or even Cape Town, I would probably make a lot more money and I'd probably be a lot more of a wealthy man, but I think I just couldn't move away from the sea. It's like such a huge thing for me, being close to the ocean. And when I go inland and I go to Joburg or anywhere away from the ocean, I can feel that I just don't feel the same. The water photography and surf photography aspect of my job is definitely one of the ones that I love the most. It's not really, sometimes it's actually weird that you get paid to do it because it's not really like working. You know, when you're out there, especially when you're shooting an event, you kind of feel like you're part of the action. You like close to the surfers. Everything's like that. You feel the intensity. It's a lot better than standing on the beach. I always say to people that no matter what the ocean is like, even if it's windy and there's the water's cold and it's like choppy, when you go in and come back out again, you always feel better once you've been in and out. It's almost like you it's like a cleansing thing, you know. It's like you feel refreshed. Everything, it's like exercise at the same time, so you just feel like your whole body is renewed. I definitely feel like the ocean's like a part of me. Like when you go into the ocean, you're kind of going home. Some people say that it's almost like going back into the womb, you know, having water all around you.
In 2011, it was January, my brother, growing up together, surfed together most. It was like just a midday, on like one of those days where you can be like, it's 100%, nothing's gonna happen, like everything is just spot on, not even a single drop of water is out of place. And it was hard, because I was there, I saw it happen. It was a Zambezi because of like shallow water and everything. It looked like a bomb of blood just went off behind him, and it was crazy, It was very savage, how it happened, and it was very quick also. It's still like stuck in my head. It's just like it's kind of a nerve-wracking scenario where you'd lose like probably your best friend. There wasn't a single time where I was like, I'd screw surfing, like there's no way I'm gonna surf again. It's just quick. Everything just goes by so quickly that you don't realize, like there's nothing you can really do, like in my head, like at the back of my head, after like a month or two of the whole thing happening, there's still just one thing that was stuck at the back of my head that I could only think about, and it was like catching another wave and being out there in the ocean, you know.
On the day that Mick got attacked by a shark, it was the final day. We'd worked that whole morning, and one of my jobs, because I was the furthest camera up the point, was to frame up each surfer, and then they put the biography underneath, and like the surfer bio underneath. And as I framed him up, I saw a splash, and then I thought it was a ray at first. I saw this fin come up, and then all of a sudden Mick got bumped, and to be honest, it was pretty surreal. I wasn't sure what was going on, but it was a weird emotion for me, because I know Mick on a personal level, so I kind of just try to go in and see what exactly was happening. And then when I realized it was a shark, it was something that I'll never forget.
Fanning still swimming on his own right, to the assistance of the jet skis. He'll hop on the sled and reset. So climbing up with his own ability as he keeps his head down. Fanning with a thumbs up, he is okay.
The first time I went back into the ocean was a surf about a week later. And it definitely was different from the time before. It was definitely a different feeling. You're a lot more aware of things that are going on around you, little splashes and like little shadows in the water. But it would never stop me from going back. I will always go into the ocean. It's my place where I think it's the place where I find my release.
Aliwal Shoal is one of those places where you can have a truly dreadful experience or a jaw-droppingly amazing experience. And for that reason, I like the place, because it's dramatic, either way you look at it. I remember one of the first things we saw was this turtle just grazing, eating the red bait. And you can hardly ever get close to those things, and for some reason, you could just lie right next to this one. It would look over its shoulder at you, and it just carried on eating. It was completely comfortable. We popped over the next ledge into the raggies cave bowl, and there were a couple of raggies swimming around. You know, incredible looking at those creatures, and they look at you and they know you're there. They don't swim away. They don't want to swim too close to you. It's just this wonderful sense of balance. You're floating above the reef, the shark's looking at you, it's kind of accepting you, and you just go about your business and it goes about its business, and it's a pretty cool experience. I think every wild animal needs to be met with respect, and I think fear is actually a good thing if it's managed in the right way. You're dealing with wild animals, but I really encourage people to try and get to know them better, because you'll get to understand what there is about them to fear, because there is a lot that you don't need to fear. When you take a shark, for example, you can have amazing experiences with sharks, but you just need to know what not to do. And I think that boundary is something that most people don't appreciate. And it's something that only comes with time in the water and experience. And I won't say that I've solved that or that I've defined it. It's something that you're always learning, but you've got to give these animals some credit. Sharks obviously aren't all bad. There's a lot of really, really interesting things about them, and they're incredibly forgiving character-wise, but you've just got to know where to draw the line. The one nice thing about that part of Aliwal are the swim-throughs. So you can duck through these amazing little arches and caves and pop up in a new section of reef. And if you don't know the reef, you can get yourself really lost. But I've dived on that section probably 100 times, and it's nice to be able to work your way northeast up to the pinnacles, and just seeing cleaner shrimps, morays, stonefish, and the topography. You look up and these reefscapes for me are just stunning. You look up and the light's shining down above you, and it's like a little mountain range. An amazing little break from real life, just to duck your head under the surface. I think having grown up on the beach, basically, the ocean will always be a part of me. It's the sound at night, it's the feel of wet sand, it's that squeeze on your lungs when you're holding your breath deep, and it's just that cool liquid feel that the ocean has. I think will always be a part of me. I don't know if I'd be able to live away from the coast, and I think that's it in its most basic sense. It's part of your being, that sort of saltiness, and I don't think that'll ever be washed out.
What you're looking for, what you're